What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Butterfly Effect Podcast. I'm your host, Liana, and today it is just you and I, and we're going to be talking about something very personal, but not, I would say personal, but relatable. And we're going to be talking about something that I'm really proud of, actually. In honor of May being Mental Health Awareness Month, I wanted to wrap up May with a story about my personal relationship with my formerly favorite thing, weed. So before we dive into that, I wanted to start by saying about 2 episodes ago, the one when I did my mental health journey one, I said that I felt like I was a very self-aware person and that I felt like I have kind of got past the point of talk therapy, which in some ways is true, but I was a liar. Your girl's a liar. And one thing about me, I can admit when I'm wrong. I can take accountability. Sometimes I do it too much, and I need to allow other people to take accountability, but that's not what we're talking about today. I actually need to come clean. It's really not that big of a deal. But anyways, I decided to get back into therapy, talk therapy. And the reason behind that is, we'll kind of get into it a little bit in this episode, but I think for me, therapy, and I think for a lot of people, and maybe if you're thinking about therapy, this will help you not feel so scared and feel like it's such like a permanent thing. Like if you get into therapy, you have to do it all the time, no matter what, until the end of your life. You have to get into therapy and do it weekly till the day that you die. That's not, to me, what therapy is. I think therapy is there's different therapists for different reasons at different times of your life to help you through different chapters of your life. And I thought I had gotten through a majority of things because I feel like I can pinpoint where like things or why I do things, or like what, like if something hurts me, I can like talk myself through it, and I'm at a point in a place where I can do that. However, there's still some things that I want to work through, and I understand where it's probably stemming from, but I think having somebody to guide my thought process through it is going to be really helpful. And I'll talk more about that in future episodes as I'm like working through it, because that's not the purpose of this one. But I just wanted to come on, and I'm always honest with y'all, but let you guys know that I decided to get back into therapy, and I'm really excited about it. I have a therapy session coming up in a few weeks, and it's with a Black woman therapist, which I'm really excited about. I've never had one of those before, so that's just going to be cool to kind of unpack some of my childhood stuff that I think has been like pushed down. And like I said, we'll get into it more as I'm going through it, so I can kind of like give y'all the real tea on what's happening, because right now I don't know if I'd be able to very much to process it and explain it in a way that would be most productive. So I'm just not really going to get too much into it. But what had triggered that is I find myself repeating these patterns in relationships, and the men that I choose to attach myself or go for, or put effort into, and they always seem to be emotionally unavailable men that leave me feeling like I need to be chosen by them. And I'm like, okay, I feel like I know where this is stemming from, but I think I need somebody to help walk me through it, because the why for me is important. I know me and my mom just had this conversation because I was like upset about something, and mind you, the situation was not serious. Like, it was just the pattern that I was recognizing that made me upset. And my mom's like, well, maybe you just need to like get better tools and not worry about why you do that. And I'm like, and that's real too, and that works for somebody, but for me, the why is important. So I need to go back and figure it out. And I thought, you know what, it's time to get therapy. I have the money to do so. I have the resources to do so. So why not take advantage of that? So I am. All of that to say, yeah, I lied. But today I am going to talk about my journey and my relationship with weed. And honestly, I don't know if YouTube allows this. I'm also on Spotify and Apple and Google Play and iHeartRadio. Yeah. I guess the reason why I really wanted to come on here, there's a couple things. So one, my conversations that I've had with previous guests, and most recently my cousin Darian. And again, shout out to Darian for coming on and being so brave and so vulnerable and sharing her journey with alcohol and addiction and sobriety. It was just such a real conversation. I needed to hear that. A lot of things that she said in her experience and her journey with alcohol, I felt like I could relate to my relationship with weed. And obviously we come from the same family. We have different experiences, but we have a lot of similarities to our upbringing. And so a lot of the things that she saw, I saw with my grandparents. And I think it's a generational thing. And I know our family is not the only one who deals with this. There's so many families that deal with hidden alcoholism, and we hide it because it's just so normalized that we don't talk about it. But anyways, I grew up with, like, you got to be careful with your use of alcohol because, there's a lot of people who struggle with it. In our family, it's in your blood, so you need to be careful. So my hyper focus was always on alcohol, and I definitely think there's many times in my life that I overdrank and I've abused alcohol. But because I was so hyper aware of that growing up, I knew, like, to keep it at a distance. I felt like I do have that in control. I never crave alcohol. Well, like when I was younger, I'd be like, oh, I can't wait to get drunk and blah, 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 blah. But I knew that, like, with that was just not something that I personally was addicted to because of, like, all of the narratives I've heard growing up. For some reason, my brain thought weed would be different. And for many, it is. And everything that I say today, please take with a grain of salt. I am not an expert. I am simply sharing my experience with it and my journey. And I don't want anyone to think that I think you're bad or I think weed's bad, because truthfully, I'm just on a tea break right now, and we'll get into that. But I think weed is amazing. I think it has so many healing properties. I think that it can help a lot of people. But if I was being real with myself, I was overdoing it. And I had to really take a pause and readjust or reevaluate my relationship with weed, because I think I was just overdoing it. I really was. So I guess let's just start from where we're at today. So I am currently on a tolerance break. Today is day 18 of not smoking. And for me, that is a big deal. And I'm very proud of that. Every day is different. And most days I don't think about, like, even want to do it, but there's some days where it's harder and I really, like, want to just smoke and relax, because that's what I just had been doing for so long. So 18 days is huge. I don't have a timeline of how long I'm going to not be smoking. I definitely plan to still smoke weed in my life because it is something that I enjoy, just like alcohol I enjoy on an occasion. But it got to a point where I was just doing too much. So I guess to give you my full journey of weed, let's take you back. So while I was growing up, it was so funny because my mom was, like, so against weed, and I understood her point when we were growing up, and she, like, scared me so much. She's like, weed is a gateway drug, don't do it, don't smoke it. So, like, in high school, I really never did. The first time I ever smoked weed, my senior year, and it was on 420, and I just thought, like, that is what a way to kick this journey off. But I didn't really like it. I didn't really notice too much. I think I was, like, with people, and I probably was just pretending, honestly, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't even remember being, like, high. But then I remember the next day was Easter, and I was at Easter, and I felt like I still felt kind of slow. So that was, like, I was like, okay, whatever, that was it. Didn't smoke again. Wasn't my thing. Like, I was just like, whatever. I go to college. I smoked here and there, like, my freshman year, like, maybe twice. It just wasn't, I don't know, I wasn't doing it. It wasn't something that called towards me. But then my senior year, I remember I just started smoking, and I loved it, and I loved how it made food taste. Let me be a big back for a second. I loved how good food tastes. Like, the munchies were so fun. I remember I got so weird and high. Like, the first couple times you smoke, you just get so goofy and weird, and everything's so funny, and, like, those were the glory days. That's how, when smoking is fun, right? And it just became, like, addictive. I think I was going through a really hard time in life, so, like, when I was high, I'm like, this is so fun, this is so goofy, food tastes amazing, like, let's keep doing this. So I kept doing that, but it wasn't every day. I would look forward to smoking. Like, I remember I was like, oh, let's smoke. Like, I just started to get more excited about it, but it wasn't every day. And then, I graduated, moved home. I would smoke here and there. My younger sisters, they were the ones smoking. Like, I was like the older newbie nerd ass sister who was not partaking, and they were doing it. So sometimes I would smoke with them, but I would get so paranoid with them because I'm like, oh my God, our mom's gonna catch us and she's gonna be so mad at us. And I remember in COVID, one time we did get caught, and my mom was she's like, I'm so disappointed in you. Mind you, I'm already high, so I'm already paranoid. And I was like, oh my God, this is the worst. This is the worst. It started to become like, that's just what we do when we're together. Me and my sisters, we would smoke. It was like ritual, you know, because it was just fun to do. It's like ceremonious almost. And I started getting like a little pen, and then I would smoke hit it before bed because I would sleep so good. And then that just continued. I'm not going to go through every single year of my life where I was smoking it, but it became to a point where I was smoking every single day. And then from every single day, it became multiple times a day. And then from multiple times a day, it was like almost all day, every day. And there'd be days here and there that I would try to like not do it, or I would not smoke just because I was like, shit, I'm smoking a lot. And then especially when you have those Benjamins, oh my gosh, they're so convenient. You can just rip that cart real quick. It doesn't have a smell, and boom, and it hits you fast. Like, it was too convenient. You know what I'm saying? I got to a place where I was like, oh, smoking makes food taste good. Ooh, smoking makes working out fun. Ooh, smoking makes watching this movie fun. Ooh, smoking makes doing my chores fun. Like, smoking like elevated everything, and I can't lie, it really does. It does. But it's like, do I need that? You know what I mean? Like, do I need that? And then I started to get paranoid about like the damage that it's doing to my body, my lungs. Like, if I'm smoking every day for multiple times a day for almost 3-4 years, that has got to have done something. I don't think it has. I feel like my lungs are healthy. I'm fine. I'm healthy. But I started to get worried about the effects that it could have on me. And edibles are cool, but they're just not the same for me personally. And so it just came to a point where I was like, yeah, I should maybe try to take a break because I'm doing this a lot and I'm doing this often. It got to a point where I was just like, yeah, I'm smoking before I even take a sip of water in the morning. That's insane. Like, what are we doing here? It's time to wake up, girlfriend. Like, we might be doing this too much. We might be abusing this now. And then I would try to take like a week off, but then life would just get hard. And I'm like, well, weed helps me feel better and helps me get through the day. So I'm going to keep doing it because at the end of the day, bills had to get paid. I had to go to work. I had to do things. I had to keep going. Like, the world does not stop spinning when bad things in your life happen. So then I started to really lean in onto weed when I was just like feeling down, or if I needed to pick me up. Oh, weed. And like, as I'm saying all of this, like, yeah, that's not good. It's not something that I'm proud of. I don't think is a good thing, but I also am not going to shame myself for it because I did what I felt like I had to do to continue to get through life. And now I'm at a place here where I have a lot more clarity and I'm in a much better place mentally. So I don't need something to numb me out, but I was using it to numb. I was using it to numb my feelings and to numb my pain. And I think that is where people have to really honestly have a good conversation with themselves and ask themselves if they are overdoing it. Because I really genuinely, I don't want anyone to take away from this message or to take away from this episode that weed is bad. I don't think weed's bad. I think weed is an incredible thing. I think it's so much fun when you use it responsibly. I was not using it responsibly. And so it's not the weed, it was the person. It was me. Because I was the one who was seeking something to numb my pain. And I just didn't have the wherewithal to sit with it. And that conversation that I had in that last episode with my cousin Darian, she was like, you know what, life's gonna get hard sometimes and you just have to be okay with being uncomfortable. And when she said that, I was like, oh my God, yeah. And I had already been, again, in this process the last couple years. I'm like, okay, I want to take a break. I feel like I'm doing it too much. Like, I've been having these conversations with myself probably daily, but it was so hard to just stop. Because I was like, well, what is it hurting? I'm still productive. I'm still doing this. I'm still working out. I'm still doing my podcast. I'm still going out with friends. I'm still showing up to work every day. I'm still paying my bills. So it's like, it's not hurting me. I just kept talking myself back into doing it, which is probably addiction. Like, and that's, yeah, it probably is addiction. That's the addiction mind trying to like stay on to the drug. Because is weed physically addictive? No, it's not. But it was emotionally addictive for me. I was emotionally dependent on it. And any excuse, I was like, yeah, let's do it. So anyways, I did like a tea break here or there for like a day, and then I would do it, or a week, and then I would smoke again. And I'd be like, okay, I can stop. It's fine. I can control this. And then I would just be right back to doing it. And then it would gradually ramp itself back up to smoking all day, every day. And it would have themes. Like the more I would smoke, when I noticed I was smoking more, were times in my life where I was going through things. So I was leaning heavily on that as like healing. And it did work for a sense. But I am the type of person where I do not want to be addicted to anything, right? Like I don't want to be dependent on anything to get through life at the end of the day. And I was definitely becoming dependent. If not, I was dependent on weed to help me just get through the day. And that's just not okay, in my opinion. If anyone else is doing that, to each their own. No judgment here. Absolutely none. Like, you do what you need to do to get through this life. It is not for me to judge. I'm just sharing my experience, and the way I want to live my life is I don't want to feel like if I'm going through a hard time that I need to drink or smoke or do something to get out of those feelings. Like, sometimes it's okay to just feel. It's uncomfortable, but that is part of this process, right? That's a part of being human. And sure, you don't have to do it every time. And if you're going through something really hard, who am I to judge, right? Do what you need to do to get yourself through it. I am now at a place where I want to feel my feelings, and I want to show up and be present every day, because it got to a point, like, again, calling back to Darian's episode, she was talking about I felt like I had to drink before going to family events or going out with friends, and it was getting to that point. Like I was getting socially awkward, so I'd be like, oh, I'll just smoke and like before I go here or before I go there, or like we'd leave family events to go out and smoke. And again, none of that is bad. Like, I'm still gonna do that sometimes, but I don't want to do that. I feel like I have to do it every time, or have it like so ingrained to my socialization. Like, I want to be able to be around people and just be present and not feel like I have to be high or drunk to just have a conversation with someone, because I never used to be like that. And it's nice now, having not smoked for this long and feeling like, oh, I can do that. That wasn't so hard. Like, it really was all in my head. And like, what I'm learning is, now that I've been 18 days free of smoking, I never needed it. I really didn't. I don't know how my brain like tricked itself into thinking that. Maybe it's like the addiction gene in my blood or in my DNA, but I never needed it. Like, seeing it now, I get through work just fine, because then like I get through work serving, being super stressful, just fine. There's moments I crave it. I'm like, oh, smoking a joint right now would be amazing. Like, it would be so chef's kiss, just smoking and being giggly and happy. And I will have those moments again in the future, but just not right now. But all that to say, like, I never needed it. I get through things just fine. And it's just like, I don't know. My brain just made me feel like I did, and I didn't. Yeah, I'm sorry. This is so crazy. I'm completely sober right now, and my thoughts are all over the place. So that was also one thing. Like, I started thinking like, oh, I'm not being as productive as I need to be, or I'm not getting enough done with my podcast because I'm smoking weed so much. And it wasn't that. Like, I think I just literally, and I am undiagnosed, but I'm pretty sure I have ADHD, and I don't necessarily want to get on Adderall, but I need to find ways and systems that are going to allow me to like work with this brain, because I am a very ambitious person, but sometimes like I am my biggest hurdle, and that can be uncomfortable to like face. But, and I was like, maybe it's the weed. That's why I know. That's just how I am. I'd be forgetful. I'd be doing things. I'd be starting one thing and not finishing it. I'd be doubting myself and all these things, being human being. 18 days for me is a lot, because I have not smoked weed for that long of a period. And to some people that's nothing, but to me that's a lot, because I've tried to stop many times, and then just found myself caving into temptation. I don't have a end date. Whenever it feels good, I will. whenever it feels right, I will. And one thing I do know, though, is I'm not going to ever go back to the way that I was doing it before, because I just don't need it anymore. I have clarity from it now. I was uncomfortable and I was using it to numb. So now I feel like, now that I know that, I know that I don't want to do that anymore. It's okay to feel, and it's not that, like, it's hard to feel your feelings, but at the end of the day, it passes. So as long as you can just get through it and sit in it, it passes. And now that I have that feeling, I feel like a lot of things in my life just got easier. So it finally, there was not like a situation that happened that caused me to be like, I need to stop. Thankfully, I'm very grateful that, like, I didn't have a rock bottom moment like that, but I just woke up and I was like, yeah, today's the day I stop. I'm just not going to do it. In the first couple days, oh my God, anyone who's tried to go on a tolerance break after, like, smoking as often as I did, it just became routine, right? And it became habitual more than anything. Like, it was breaking that routine. So first thing, if you are a person that is trying to stop or take a break or whatever you want to do, get it out of your sight, because out of sight, out of mind. Oh my gosh. Like, if I saw it, I'd want to try it, or I'd want to hit it, or I want to smoke or whatever. Like, I had to break the routine, and I had to just distract myself, going on a walk, going to work out, like finding something else to do with my time instead of like caving into that craving. And the first few days were so hard. I promise you, I was like, oh, I just want to smoke. Oh, I just want to smoke. I want to smoke. I want to smoke. I want to smoke. But I was like, if I can't get through these first 2 days, I'm never going to get through this. So I just made myself get through it. And thank God I worked. So it, like, kept me busy, my mind busy. And that really helped a lot. It really did. But then when I'd come home from work, I was like, that was that first night, I just knew I wasn't going to sleep. Because I just was like, oh my God, I was so restless almost. I was just so irritable. Oof, yeah, this episode is going to be very challenging to post. Shout out to Darian and Carol for coming on and speaking about this, because wow, yeah, this is kind of hard to face yourself and, like, think about that version of yourself. But at the end of the day, I love that version of myself. I have no shame over that. It's just a reality that I had to face. Yeah, so the first few days were really hard, and once I made it through a couple days, like, the idea of smoking and the routine hadn't been set yet. I still wanted to, but I just knew that I made it this far. I'm not going to go back and just break it this time. I just want to keep going and see, make it to 30 days and see how I feel, because I wanted to see how my body changed. I wanted to see how my thoughts changed, how my mind changed. I also had, like, saw an interview with Doechii, and she was talking about how she stopped smoking because she wanted to take her craft seriously, and I wanted to see what that was about. And I saw Kendrick Lamar, like, he's like, I don't drink or smoke, I'm pretty sure. And I just was like, like, is there something to being sober and chasing your dreams in this creative field? Because I also leaned into weed to get creative, and it does help sometimes. That really is a benefit of it, I think. But again, it's the person doing it and how often you're doing it. And I was the one who had to fix my relationship with it, because doing it here and there on a weekend or after work on a night that I just choose to or I want to, I'm okay with that. That to me is a healthy relationship with the substance. So I'm trying to get to a place where I can do that. And that's when I know I'll be able to do it again. Ugh. And then, anyways, I decided to do a tea break right before going on a bachelorette trip in which they were partaking, or some people were partaking, and I turned it down, and I was so proud of myself. I remember KK was with me, and I was like, KK, I said no to it, like, because I hadn't had anyone offer it to me. So saying no to it, like, was so huge, because I don't care if anyone does it. Like, I love it. I love that for you. I love weed. I hope people continue to partake in it. But I knew that if I can say no to this person and I can say no in this setting, I can say no all the time. So when I made it through that, I just woke up so proud of myself and so happy that I did not break my tea break. And I continued, I don't know, like saying no. And like they were so nice about it. Obviously it was not a big deal at all, but to me it was a big deal because that was the first time I had been offered and I said no. And then I got offered a few more times in different settings, and I felt like it was like the universe testing me, and I just kept saying no, and it was easy. It wasn't even hard. Like I was worried I was gonna have a hard time saying no to it, but it wasn't hard at all. And it just made me feel really proud that I was like, oh, I didn't need it, and I still don't need it, but when I choose to smoke, I will. And it makes me like look forward to moments where I'm like gonna be on vacation with my sister. I'm gonna go visit her in Colorado, and I know I'm gonna smoke there, but that makes me like kind of just like, it's good, like a special thing, you know what I mean? Like it's something I do in special moments. It's not something that I do all day every day, and that is what I'm looking forward to getting back to. And the things that I've noticed since not smoking, like the dreams, like they call this thing, there's this thing called REM rebounding. So when you smoke weed, apparently you don't get into the REM state when you're sleeping, so you don't dream, or you dream but you don't necessarily remember it, or at least I wasn't. And I'm, again, not a fucking scientist. Do your own research, but this is my research and me parroting what I think is what I processed. So the dreams were crazy. I just have so many intense dreams. A lot of them were kind of like anxious dreams. I will say the sleep has been a struggle getting back to normal sleeping, but I know that my body is going to adjust, and then once I adjust, it's going to be a lot better quality sleep that I'm getting, because I think when you smoke weed, you don't, or drink alcohol, you don't get quality sleep. So your body's not fully ever resting, and I can only imagine the havoc that causes for your body. But a positive thing that I've noticed, one, I don't eat as much. I don't have the munchies like that. Like when I was living alone and I was in my apartment, I'd smoke after work every single night. I would get a Reese's peanut butter cup from the vending machine and these delicious spicy pickle chips every single night, like clockwork. And it was so good. Can't lie, but like it definitely was not good for my body. My face was that's part of the reason I was probably breaking out. I definitely was gaining unnecessary weight from doing that, but it became like routine and like my comfort, like a comfort blanket. So I just did it every single day, damn near, literally. Oh my God, I can't even how I am now. I'm like, what was I doing? Like, what was I doing? Why was I eating all those Reese's peanut butter cups? They were so good though. Those are my favorite little sweet treats. But again, abusing it, like I've said in previous episodes, like addiction can be more than just alcohol or drugs. It's food, it's exercise, it's sex, it's everything. So like people are addicted to things more than you think. But yeah, so I don't eat like that anymore. I really don't. And then when it comes to like smoking was giving me so much anxiety. Like a lot of people smoke to help their anxiety. In some cases it does help, but I just would get like I don't even know how to explain it, like a subtle anxiety. I would just get a subtle anxiety all the time about just stupid things that I just don't even worry about anymore. Or the paranoia, it was just unnecessary unnecessary. And all the time and constant. And now that I don't smoke, I still have some anxiety. I still, you get paranoid about normal things, but you're not just paranoid about everything in life all the time. And that just can't be good for your body. You know what I mean? So I'm really happy that I have experienced this and I have a reminder of this, and like being able to just, sit in my feelings and feel stuff without feeling like I have to numb myself out and just be like zoned out a zombie. Like that's just not what I want for myself anymore. Again, it's getting dark, so I'm wrapping it up and I'm gonna go see a movie with my dad. But I love me some weed. I want you, if you take anything away from this, just know, like, I'm not saying I'm never gonna do it again. I just really had to look in the mirror and realize what I was doing was not healthy. And I was creating a very unhealthy habit that I did not want to continue. So I had to check myself. I really did. And it was not easy. And every day, you just got to choose to not do it. And it's simple, but it's not simple, if you get what I'm saying. Like, you just have to choose not to. And you have to find ways to distract yourself so you don't cave in. But again, if you are somebody who smokes weed, I love that for you. Please smoke that J for me right now. Or pop that edible, or crack that THC seltzer, and I love it, but I just needed to like readjust my priorities and give myself a reset so I can do things in a more healthy way where it's not dependent. I wanted to share my journey with this, and hopefully it's received well. If not, oh well, it's my story, I don't care. And just know I love you guys, and if you are questioning this, or you want to go on a tea break, or you want to stop smoking entirely, whatever your journey is, and you want to just speak to somebody like a friend, and chat about it for a bit, what's up? Let's talk. But also know that there are actual resources out there that you can get help with if you think you would benefit from that. Thank you for listening. If you tuned in, I love you always, and I hope that you had a great May, and let's bring on June. Let's bring on some good vibes for June, okay? All right. Goodbye, everyone.